Good morning from my side also. My name is Nadine Shovakar. I work for Universities Austria, and I will speak about our MORE initiative, which is basically a nationwide initiative by the Austrian universities for refugee students and refugee academics. I want to start out actually by saying something that I think unites all of us, and that is actually why all of this, why MORE or why the MORE initiative, and that is because we believe in the refugees' knowledge, skills, and talents, and the contributions they can make if they are successfully integrated into receiving societies. So this was the base of feeling when we started the project in 2015. I'll give you a quick overview of what I'm going to talk about. First, I'll give you an overview over the MORE project. Then, as I was saying, it started in 2015. In 2018, we did an evaluation where we got perspectives from the MORE coordinators from universities, some facts and figures like how many people were involved, and some perspectives from the MORE students, so the students who were actually in the program. And then I want to end by giving you what we feel were key challenges and conditions for success for the MORE project. Starting with the overview. Click. So as I was saying, when the big influx of asylum seekers and refugees was there in summer of 2015, this is when the idea of doing something for refugees at the Austrian universities came up. There were already some individual initiatives, and then we also got involved as a rectors conference, which is an umbrella organization of all the Austrian public universities. And the MORE initiative provides a space for reflection and offers possibilities to integrate in the university as a student or as a scientist. It is now available at all of the 21 public universities, and that's not only now, but that was already since 2015. So it started out in summer, and by the end of the year 2015, it was available nationwide. All the MORE offers are free of charge, and they're open to asylum seekers as well as recognized refugees. The only prerequisite to get into the MORE program as a student, for example, is your legal status, your proof of right of residence. Over the course of time, universities have also developed individualized admission procedures in order to better place the students. Now, the MORE initiative has generally 3 legs, which I'm going to just quickly introduce. One is the MORE courses. These are aimed at prospective students. It means they offer language training. Students can partake in the regular degree courses out of the regular degree programs. And they're held, as I was saying, at every university town in Austria. The second leg is MORE Perspective, which is for academics and scientists, and it provides a platform for refugee academics and scientists to share their knowledge and experience. And the last part are MORE activities, which means this is a more open format. For example, they have partially like city walks in Vienna, or people join the choir, or there are sport activities, it's a little more open format to also socially integrate. How did we set it up? Each of our 21 member universities has a so-called MORE coordinator. That's the person who is responsible for implementing the MORE program at that specific university, and also a one-stop shop for the prospective students, for example, to find out about information. Then this is has also student bodies, which means the National Students' Union has helped us to find local students who are helping the refugee students. And then we also, which I forgot on the slide, we also are working together with NGOs who basically link the refugees, especially those who are still asylum seekers, with the universities. And then Universities Austria coordinates all of this, which means we have regular meetings with the NGOs, with the MORE coordinators, with the student bodies, and we also do everything that is about finding sponsors and the PR and marketing. as I was saying, it started in winter term 2015-16. Last year we did an evaluation after 5 semesters where we looked in facts and figures, which is basically the enrollment data of the participants of the MORE courses. And we also did 2 surveys. I did a survey with the MORE coordinators to get the university perspective, to collect like their ideas on the goals, which we of course had at the beginning, but also if they feel they've been fulfilled and their experiences with the program. And the other leg was done by the University of Linz, and this was a survey done with the MORE students to find out about their satisfaction with the courses, how many courses they will complete, and also they were trying to find out about their social integration. Now coming to the MORE coordinators, what were actually the objectives of the universities? And they were, again, two-legged. There was some general objectives and some specific ones. I'll show you the next slide right away. It's a bit small, but I'm sure you can download everything later. So the more general objectives were everyday structures and integration, and also orientation and becoming familiar with the educational system. So which is a more broader, general getting to know the Austrian system, so to say. The 2 other goals which universities are pursuing is language acquisition, get them fit in German because most of our courses are in German, and preparation for degree studies, which means sometimes when you come, for example, with a Syrian school leaving diploma, you need to take some extra maths classes so that it's equivalent for a degree program. So universities are pursuing all of these goals. As you can see, the orange, the left side, is basically which means strongly agree. So they pursue both the goals with the program. To the facts and figures, in those 5 semesters, approximately 2,500 students have partaken in the MORE program, and they have used about 4,000 courses, which means course offers in these 5 semesters. And then, of course, the MORE activities are on top of that. The average MORE student is 26 years old, is masculine, is male, and originates also from the main countries of influx, which is Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Iran. He experiences an Austrian university for the first time via the MORE program, and we assume that he stays there for several semesters. Then we also looked into the transfers, sort of the course of studies, as in how many students did actually come from these individual courses and language trainings into full degree studies. And in these 5 semesters, around 120 students are already either in a preparatory course, which is getting you ready to study, or they have already transferred to degree studies. Now the numbers seem low out of 2,500, 120, but one has to take into account, of course, that the refugee students came with mostly zero knowledge of the German language, for example. So it takes time to get ready for degree studies. So we are expecting that means these numbers will go up. Then once those people who are already studying a degree program are mainly in management and science fields. As you can see, you can look at the details later. Regarding course completion, this comes from that survey that was done with the MORE students. 124 MORE students have been asked from all over Austria, and they say that more than 2/3 report that they've successfully completed at least one course. And that is pretty good, and 1/6 has done even more than 3 courses. So a lot of MORE students are very eager and very fast in doing many courses. Then regarding social integration, that survey also asked the refugee students, have you made new friends through the MORE program? And we're happy to report that 87% of the students have actually made new friends through the MORE program, and about half of them made both Austrian new friends and friends out of the refugee community. So we can say that the MORE program does add to social integration also. Now coming to the last 2 parts, this is on the one side the key challenges, and on the other side what we feel are factors for success. Main key challenges many times in life is finances. more students, of course, as I was saying, all our offers are free of charge. However, many students don't live in the university town, so they need to travel there. So these are costs that come up, and also, of course, students who are still asylum seekers because they have very, very little money. Then the other part of challenges is that through the NGOs we were lucky enough to reach the refugee community, but we have still, like, the level of participation of women is not as high as we would feel comfortable with. We started out with only 8% female participants, now we've reached 12%, but we would still feel better if it was higher. We are trying to to help in both these matters, the finances and the female participation, through a grant that we give of 50 euros. It's called a semester package to more students, which they get, and we give it especially to asylum seekers and also female students. And then the last part which we have to tackle is to promote the transitions to degree studies even more, whether it's just time that's needed or scholarships, we'll see. Now, what has worked well? The MORE initiative was drawn up very quickly. I mean, for very big organizations like universities, we had very decisive university management who backed it from day one. And then, of course, many researchers, a lot of administrative university personnel and individuals who worked extra hours and put in a lot of enthusiasm and belief and help and walk the extra mile to make this happen. And of course, it also helped that there were already some initiatives already in place. The other factor for success, which we feel, is the integration of NGOs, because not only do they have access or are they in contact with the refugee community, but they also understand many things and helped us also help the students be good buddies, and there was a lot of knowledge exchange. And however, as a almost last point, is that our project, of course, depends on the overall feeling of a refugee-friendly political system also, which could provide scholarships for more students. Because, as I was saying, the finances are short. As a last point, I want to say that we started out by saying that we do believe in the talents of refugee students and academics, and with these surveys, we can see after now 3 years that university do feel that they are enriched by refugee students and academics. And we will continue with the program. There are still 500 students this semester in the program, and we will continue to improve it. Thank you for your attention. That's my last slide. We have the evaluation online. So first of all, if you have any questions, this is my email address. And on our website, there's much more information. And there is also the evaluation. There's an English short version of the evaluation to be found there. Thank you.